Chapter 3875. When the Snipe and the Clam Fight. The Firebirds looked fierce, but in Lin Moyu's eyes, they were nothing special. With a casual wave, the power of death swept up the flames, transforming into a gray dragon that devoured all the incoming Firebirds. After one strike, the sea of fire quieted down and stopped attacking Lin Moyu, as if acknowledging his presence. Lin Moyu examined this sea of fire. The area was vast, burning brightly within the world mist, driving away the surrounding fog. The fire spread to both sides, stretching as far as the eye could see. Rising above the sea of fire, he finally saw the full picture. The flames formed a massive ring, and at the center of the ring was a world. The world's barrier reflected multicolored light within the flames, and fire constantly seeped into the barrier.
So this is refining a world?
In Lin Moyu's eyes, the sea of fire was refining an entire world. This world felt lifeless to him. There were likely few, if any, living beings inside. Lin Moyu approached the world's barrier and touched it, carefully sensing the situation within. The world was extremely quiet and just as hot inside. The refining process was nearly complete. This world was finished. Suddenly, a message came, memories from the world itself. Lin Moyu saw a world that wasn't strong, with only 3 Dao Lords inside. One day, they faced a terrifying enemy. A giant bird cloaked in flames. It killed the 3 Dao Lords, then enveloped the entire world in fire. The world became a sea of fire, its living beings nearly wiped out. The flames then began to erode the world, intent on refining it. This world was still in its spirit-nurturing stage. Its world had not awakened, so there would be no grudge fruit of all living beings, allowing the attacker to act without restraint. The world's beings were nearly all dead, and the world fell silent, awaiting destruction. The refining process was long, lasting over 10,000 years. Lin Moyu returned to the flames, feeling their pulsing. This fire wasn't from the fire Great Tao, but a special flame similar to the world-burning fire, though much weaker.
At this rate, it'll take at least another 5,000 years to finish refining this world. The efficiency is really low. The struggles between worlds are truly chaotic. The weak get bullied, no doubt about it.
A world with only 3 Dao Lords was far too weak in Lin Moyu's eyes. Being preyed upon was natural. The world is just that cruel. He didn't plan to stay long and was about to leave when he suddenly turned to look into the distance. A firebird was speeding toward him from afar, billions of miles away, but already locked onto him. Lin Moyu narrowed his eyes.
Cause and effect.
He noticed lines of cause and effect emerging from his body, extending toward the firebird. This meant there was karmic entanglement between him and the firebird. But this was his first time seeing it, so why the karmic tie? Lin Moyu only had a superficial grasp of the cause and effect Great Tao. Now, relying on the myriad world's cause and effect Tao, he could see a little. The cause and effect Great Tao doesn't lie. If it wasn't him, then the origin continent must have karma with it. Searching his memories, Lin Moyu recalled the origin catastrophe, when the heavenly god realm and black blood realm invaded and brought their minions. He found a moment in his memories. A group of strong beings from the blazing fire realm, adept at controlling flames, had once turned large swathes of the origin continent into scorched earth, burning countless lives. But there weren't many from the blazing fire realm, and they were quickly wiped out, so there wasn't much record of them.
That must be it. This firebird is from the blazing fire realm, which is why there's karma. In that case, let's resolve this karma now, and test the strength of the undead servants. The world-burning fire can also have a real feast.
As Lin Moyu thought this, the surrounding sea of fire boiled, the temperature soaring as if its master had arrived, and the fire's power surged dramatically. Pillars of fire shot up, surrounding Lin Moyu. The distant giant firebird was rapidly approaching, its origin Dao Lord aura sweeping through the void. Lin Moyu was unconcerned. In the midst of the fire sea, his body glowed faintly. The domain passive spell was active, radiating a subtle origin aura. At this moment, Lin Moyu was like a black hole, absorbing all attacks. The damage was distributed across the myriad world's great Daos and billions of undead servants, so each one bore only a tiny fraction. The terrifying heat of the fire sea was nothing to Lin Moyu, not even enough to warm his hands. He was about to act when the void twisted and a giant net suddenly appeared, flashing across the void and instantly ensnaring the firebird. The firebird shrieked, and the net tightened rapidly, binding it firmly. No matter how the firebird struggled, the net only grew tighter. This firebird was an Origin Dao lord, yet it was caught by a net. Lin Moyu observed and realized this net wasn't a magical treasure but a spell. The net contained a power that could corrode the firebird's flames.
This isn't a treasure, it's a spell.
He quickly looked up and, activating the eye of the undead, saw a dazzling soul flame. A hoarse laugh echoed in the void, and a giant spider appeared in his vision. The spider was over 10,000 miles across, and it was the one that had spun the net to trap the firebird. Lin Moyu was slightly startled. The giant spider had clearly been hiding here for a long time, and he hadn't noticed at all. It was here to hunt the firebird, and Lin Moyu, an unremarkable bystander, was simply ignored by the spider. The firebird's cries grew more desperate and shrill, its flames growing more vivid. The net binding it began to weaken as it struggled to break free. The giant spider spat more webs, layering them to restrain the firebird. The firebird's flames turned from bright red to deep crimson, growing even stronger, and the surrounding fire sea suddenly flowed toward the firebird like a river. In an instant, the flames encircling the world vanished, all absorbed by the firebird. With the flames reclaimed, the firebird's aura peaked, its deep red fire nearly black, its power now several times greater than before. The spider webs were rapidly burning away, and the firebird stared at the spider with hateful eyes. Boom! The spider webs shattered, and the firebird, shrieking in fury, charged at the spider. The spider raised its legs, its whole body emitting a chilling black light, and the two clashed.
That must be its natal fire. When refining a world, the firebird's own power is weakened. The spider's webs force the firebird to stop refining the world and defend itself, ruining thousands of years of effort. The spider's goal isn't just to ruin the firebird's refinement, but to kill the firebird as well.
Lin Moyu quickly assessed the situation, then pulled out some sunflower seeds and sat back to watch. A battle between Origin Dao lords was unfolding before his eyes. How could he miss such a spectacle? As for why they were fighting, it didn't matter. He'd deal with it after the fight. When the snipe and the clam fight, the fisherman profits, so there was no need for him to rush. Chapter 3876. I am from the Origin continent. The spider and the firebird clashed fiercely, clearly not their first encounter, both filled with murderous intent. At this level of power, any being would possess considerable intelligence. This is a law of heaven and earth, with the exception of certain special beings like great Dao beasts. The spider and firebird were no exception. Though their battle was intense, it was highly methodical, showing they were both intelligent. Their shrieks rang out, the firebird's sharp and the spider's hoarse. These were their languages. They were communicating, but as an outsider, Lin Moyu couldn't understand. Lin Moyu was a proper spectator, silently enjoying the spectacular battle. The firebird was slashed repeatedly, flaming feathers flying everywhere. The spider didn't fare much better, burned in many places and even losing a leg. After several minutes, they finally separated with a thunderous clash. The firebird shrieked shrilly, while the spider, after a moment's hesitation, suddenly left and vanished into the void. In terms of strength, the firebird had the edge, but the spider had the ability to hide itself if it wanted to leave. The bird couldn't stop it. The ambush ended in failure for the attacker. With the show over, Lin Moyu flicked out a ball of world-burning fire. The unremarkable flame floated lazily to the world barrier not far away. Boom! The fire erupted, quickly spreading along the world barrier and enveloping the entire world. The world trembled, the barrier visibly changing as the world-burning fire not only wrapped around the world but rapidly seeped inside. The world-burning fire was far stronger than the firebird's flames. What would take the firebird thousands or tens of thousands of years to refine, the world-burning fire could do in less than a month. Sensing through the world-burning fire, Lin Moyu confirmed there were no living beings left in this world. After 10,000 years of refining, all life had perished.
You're courting death.
A roar rang out. The firebird glared at him, its sharp eyes full of killing intent. In just that short time, its injuries had already healed significantly. For such beings, as long as their core wasn't harmed, their recovery was astonishing. Lin Moyu smiled calmly.
So you can speak. I thought you only knew how to screech.
The firebird snapped angrily.
Stop immediately, or I'll eat you.
It spat flames, locking onto Lin Moyu but not attacking immediately. It seemed wary, sensing Lin Moyu was a Tao lord, but unable to gauge his strength. Lin Moyu's calm demeanor in the fire sea made it feel he was anything but simple. Naturally, Lin Moyu had no intention of stopping.
You're from the blazing fire realm, aren't you?
The firebird snorted.
That's right.
Lin Moyu continued.
And that spider just now?
The firebird didn't hesitate.
That thing's from the black spider realm.
The black spider realm sounded like a world of spiders, while the blazing fire realm was for firebirds. There are countless worlds, some with humans, some with other races. Some are diverse, others single race like the black spider realm and blazing fire realm. Seeing Lin Moyu had no intention of stopping, the firebird grew angrier.
I told you to stop, didn't you hear me?
Lin Moyu chuckled.
Aren't you just stalling for time? Your wounds are almost healed, right? Ready to fight now?
The firebird was wary of Lin Moyu, and hadn't attacked because it was waiting for its wounds to fully heal, so it could be confident in facing him. Lin Moyu saw the caution and cunning in its eyes. This bird was no fool. Lin Moyu didn't mind. Refining the world would take time anyway, and if the firebird was fully healed, it'd be a good chance to test the strength of his undead servants. The firebird's thoughts exposed, it grew even angrier.
Since you insist on dying, I'll grant your wish.
With a soul-piercing screech, the firebird charged, flames sweeping the heavens. Lin Moyu willed an undead servant to appear at his side. Without further instruction, the servant already knew what to do. He threw a punch, forming a colossal fist that shattered the void and blasted the flames back.
Power Great Tao.
Lin Moyu saw that the undead servant used the power Great Tao with this punch. Against an unknown opponent, using the power Great Tao was always a safe bet. The firebird screeched, dodging like a teleport, leaving a trail of fire. The undead servant vanished, reappearing before the firebird with a massive greatsword identical to the Skeleton King's, sharp beyond compare. Water vapor surged on the blade. The water Great Tao was condensed within. The servant slashed at the firebird. The firebird shrieked again, retreating and spewing flame at the servant. The servant vanished and reappeared before the bird, slashing again, forcing it back. The undead servant pursued relentlessly, swinging the water sword, each strike turning the void into an ocean-a world of water. The firebird was harshly suppressed and became extremely disheveled. Lin Moyu watched, noting that the servant's teleportation came from the space Great Tao, and it was using the water Great Tao to suppress the firebird. The servant's Taos came from the myriad worlds. As long as the myriad worlds had a Tao, the servant could use it. Through the chaos region, even at great distances, it could draw on the myriad world's power. The firebird was strong. After being caught off guard, it quickly adjusted and counterattacked, gradually regaining the upper hand. Flames surged, and several firebird clones appeared, each powerful, launching a group attack on the servant. Not only did it recover, it began suppressing the servant. Lin Moyu willed 100 undead servants into existence. They all used the space Great Tao to teleport into battle, surrounding the firebird from all sides. The servants, minds linked, all wielded the water Great Tao. Torrents of heavenly water poured down, extinguishing the flames. Water and fire are opposites. Water can suppress fire, but fire can also boil water. The key is who is stronger. 100 servants used the water Great Tao in unison, their powers connected, instantly pinning the firebird down. The servants raised their blades, slashing apart the firebird's clones. The firebird, startled, shrieked and tried to break out, but was blocked at every turn. These servants looked, sounded, and felt identical. It struggled to fight even one, let alone 100. It was doomed.
I surrender. This world is yours, let me go.
The firebird cried out. It wasn't stupid. Faced with death, it knew what to choose. Lin Moyu shook his head.
You may not know, but there's karma between us. I can't let you go.
The firebird screamed.
Nonsense. I've never met you. How could there be karma?
Lin Moyu smiled.
I'm from the origin continent.
Chapter 3877, 3.
Origin continent. You're actually from the origin continent.
Just these 4 words made the firebird's feathers stand on end, its tone changing, even tinged with fear. Lin Moyu smiled.
Looks like you've been to the origin continent before. How was it? Did you suffer a loss there?
The firebird replied.
At the time, we had already admitted defeat. We even moved our entire world away. That matter is already over.
Lin Moyu shook his head. I don't think so. The karma between us isn't severed, so it's not over yet. Rest easy. After this, I'll come to your world too, so you all can experience what it feels like to be invaded. The firebird sensed Lin Moyu's intent and stopped begging.
You'll never find our world.
Lin Moyu chuckled.
Finding your world is easy. I have many ways. For example, I can follow the thread of karma. It's not hard at all.
Fear flashed in the firebird's eyes. The cause and effect Great Tao was too mysterious. Maybe he really could find it. Looking at the hundreds of beings around it, each as strong as itself, a trace of despair rose in its eyes.
Fine. I'll fight you to the death.
The firebird shrieked, its body exploding into deep crimson flames. Its power soared, surpassing its own limits. Its aura now matched some of the world lords from the Jumu Great Spirit domain.
Burn my body, ignite my soul, return to my ancestral origin.
With a piercing cry, a dark firebird appeared in the void, trailed a huge, ornate, beautiful tail behind it. This firebird, having reverted to its ancestral form, radiated a terrifying aura, its gaze icy cold as it spat out 3 words.
Kill you!
It shot forward like a flaming arrow, instantly breaking through the undead servant's encirclement and charging at Lin Moyu. With the arrow before him, Lin Moyu didn't dodge, he took it head on. He just happened to want to test his own defenses. Could this being, now at World Lord level and going all out, actually injure him? The terrifying power struck him, and Lin Moyu's body glowed faintly, origin energy leaking out. His body naturally becoming a black hole, absorbing all the attack. The tremendous force passed through his body and entered the myriad worlds. Within the myriad worlds, all the Daos rang out, and the attack was shared among the thousands of billions of undead servants. What looked like a mighty attack, once divided into billions, wasn't so mighty anymore. Lin Moyu slowly raised his hand, grabbed the fire arrow, and smiled faintly.
This level of attack can't kill me.
A shocked voice came from within the fire arrow.
Impossible. How can you block my attack?
Lin Moyu smiled.
You can't even accept the truth?
With a thought, all the undead servants appeared at his side, swinging their greatswords imbued with the water Great Tao. Amidst miserable screams, the fire arrow shattered. The firebird's body and bones were destroyed. Its soul was sliced to pieces. It died on the spot. Lin Moyu grabbed a fragment of its soul, and before it could dissipate, the undying flame blazed forth. He activated Infinite Summon, using the soul as a guide and the true spirit as the root, reviving the firebird. This chaos spell, fusing 5 spell stars, did not disappoint Lin Moyu at all. The shattered soul quickly reassembled. The remaining fragments were pulled back, and the body began to regenerate. In just a few minutes, a firebird with Origin Tao Lord-level power appeared before Lin Moyu. The resurrected firebird prostrated itself before Lin Moyu and respectfully said,
Fire 3 greets Master.
Lin Moyu asked.
Your name is Fire 3?
Fire 3 replied honestly.
In the blazing fire realm, I'm ranked 3rd, so I'm called Fire 3. Above me are Fire 2 and Fire 1.
In a world dominated by firebirds, even the names are simple. Many single-race worlds are like this. Only diverse worlds get complicated. Lin Moyu asked.
How many Dao Lords do you have?
Fire 3 said.
There were originally 13 Dao Lords. During the origin catastrophe, we lost 7. Later, we escaped, and over the years, 3 more Dao Lords were born. Now, there are 9 left.
Lin Moyu continued.
How strong are they?
Fire 3 said.
Fire 1 is the strongest, much stronger than me. Fire 2 is about the same as me, the rest are weaker.
It didn't know exactly how strong Fire 1 was, just that he was very strong enough to defeat all the other Dao Lords combined. Lin Moyu figured Fire 1's cultivation should already be at the World Lord level. He asked,
Does your world have a World Lord?
Fire 3 said, there wasn't before, but long ago, Fire 1 received some guidance, saying he could become the Lord of the world, so he began refining the world will. But the process is very slow. He's been refining it for over 100,000 years, and it's said he's almost done. Lin Moyu frowned.
Who gave him that guidance?
Fire 3 shook its head. I don't know. Fire 1 encountered someone by chance while out, and after returning, he went into seclusion. He said if he waited any longer, it would be too late and we'd all die. I asked him what he meant by too late.
Fire 1 said the world war was about to take form. If he didn't speed up, we'd all die.
After saying this, Fire 3 stayed quietly to the side, saying no more. Outsiders would never guess Fire 3 was a revived being, just a silent, taciturn firebird. Lin Moyu asked.
He didn't mention anything else? Like where this method came from?
Fire 3 shook its head.
He didn't say anything else.
Lin Moyu knew Fire 3 wasn't lying. If it said it didn't know, then it really didn't. He thought for a moment and said quietly,
When this is over, you'll lead me to the blazing fire realm.
Fire 3 didn't hesitate at all.
As you command.
Lin Moyu continued.
Now tell me about your situation with the Black Spider Realm.
Fire 3 said, the Black Spider Realm is a world not far from us. During the origin catastrophe, we moved over and accidentally entered their territory. Although we quickly retreated, the Black Spider Realm was still furious and sent strong fighters to attack us. We were injured, but our top strength remained, so we weren't afraid. Once, we even wanted to invade and conquer the Black Spider Realm, but they had their world will take form ahead of time, blocking our attack, and we lost again. Fire 1 said not to rush. Once he finished refining the world will and it matured, we could settle the score with the Black Spider Realm. To erase the will of a world and become its true master, only humans with soul-stealing techniques could do that. Clearly, this Fire 1 had come into contact with the human emperor. If not directly, then at least indirectly. The human emperor gave him the soul-stealing technique, allowing him to erase the blazing fire realm's will and become the world lord. But why did the human emperor do this? Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out. Maybe after a few days, when he meets Fire 1, he'll get an answer. Lin Moyu asked Fire 3 some more questions and learned a bit about the blazing fire realm. A month later, the nameless world was completely refined, turning into a beautiful world crystal that landed in Lin Moyu's hand. He tossed it straight into the myriad worlds to be absorbed and refined. The effect of a world crystal was even better than Desolate Beast Essence, with tremendous benefits. At the same time, the world-burning fire was fully recharged during the refining, growing stronger. Chapter 3878. To root out the grass, remove the roots. Lin Moyu stood atop Huisan, letting it lead the way to the blazing fire realm. Every world has its own story, and the blazing fire realm is no exception. According to Huisan, their world was born from a mass of blazing flames, into which the blood of a great being once dripped, ultimately evolving into the blazing fire realm. They're so called.
Return to ancestral origin.
refers to this great being, who is considered the founder of the Blazing Fire realm. In Lin Moyu's view, this explanation was unreliable. All worlds originate from the yin-yang source. This is a fundamental law of the universe that does not change. The difference lies in whether the yin and yang sources emerge together or alternate. If a drop of blood is involved, it most likely entered one of the yin-yang sources, influencing the world's evolution and thus affecting its environment and species. The Blazing Fire realm should be the same. The blood of a powerful being entered its yin-yang source, thus becoming their bloodline. Unfortunately, there was little memory within that drop of blood, so the firebirds of the Blazing Fire realm don't know their ancestor's name, they simply call it the progenitor. After several days traveling through the mist, Lin Moyu once again saw crimson flames. A world surrounded by fire appeared before him. Within the flames, the vague shape of a firebird could be seen. Lin Moyu sensed the power of the world's founder within, the blood's influence permeating the structure of the realm. Most importantly, he faintly sensed a peculiar aura.
The aura of an origin spell.
His heart trembled slightly. He actually sensed the aura of an origin spell from the Blazing Fire realm. The aura was extremely faint. Without years of experience with origin spells and a soul sensitive enough, it would be impossible to detect.
Could it be the origin bird?
Almost instinctively, Lin Moyu thought of the origin bird. Back in the secret realm, the ghost husband had told him the story of the origin bird, whose blood was refined by a supreme being into an origin spell. This suggests that the origin bird was powerful enough that its blood would carry a similar aura. After careful observation, Lin Moyu determined that the Blazing Fire realm had nothing to do with the origin bird. Their appearances were different. Since there is an origin bird, there must be other beings of the same level. Lin Moyu didn't believe the origin bird was unique.
Antares was taken away by the green-robed old man and sealed in a small world back then. Maybe that's when he met the ghost husband. According to him, the ghost husband was cruel but not strong enough. The green-robed old man kept him locked up, but for what purpose? And why did the ghost husband want to kill me back then, when I had no grudge with him?
Thinking of the origin bird, Lin Moyu recalled some old events he still couldn't understand. The ghost husband must have been very strong, at least stronger than Lin Moyu is now. His so-called weakness was only relative to the green-robed old man.
Master, are we going to attack now?
Hossan stopped outside the Blazing Fire realm and asked cautiously. The infinitely summoned revived ones are completely obedient, but they also have self-awareness. They're not just mindless puppets. Compared to the old resurrection of the dead, the revived ones are clearly more lively. Lin Moyu stopped his train of thought and sensed the karma. At this close distance, the karma between himself and the Blazing Fire realm became even clearer and stronger. The hatred spanning countless years was not over. Today he would end it. But before that, Lin Moyu's gaze passed over the Blazing Fire realm and looked into the distance. In the world mist beyond the Blazing Fire realm, a soul flame was quietly burning. Lin Moyu said,
"The Tao Lord of the Black Spider realm has been watching you all along."
Hossan nodded.
"Yes, they've always been watching us, but it doesn't matter, they can't come in. Fire just said that once he's fully refined the will, he'll settle accounts with them."
Lin Moyu was almost certain that what Fireda had obtained was the human emperor's soul-stealing technique. The soul-stealing technique includes a method for artificially accelerating the world will, forcing it into the forming stage in a short time. But this damages the world will's foundation, making it hard to reach eternity. Of course, they would never allow the world will to reach eternity, so for them, this shortcut is a good thing. In the Jumu Great Spirit domain, almost every world lord used this method. Lin Moyu said,
"Go deal with that black spider, Tao Lord. I'll have 2 undead servants assist you kill if you can, or drive them off."
Hossan accepted the order and immediately charged at the hidden black spider, Tao Lord in the mist, 2 undead servants silently appearing on its back to assist. Lin Moyu ignored that battle, focusing his killing intent on the Blazing Fire realm. Back then, the Blazing Fire realm's Tao Lords came to the origin continent and turned millions of miles into scorched earth, killing countless beings. Today, that debt would be settled. A dense mass of undead servants appeared, surrounding the blazing fire realm.
Leave no survivors.
With Lin Moyu's command, the undead army charged in. In the real world, invasion is far more direct and brutal than in the Soul Void. This time, more than 10 billion undead were sent, equivalent to 10 billion Dao Lords attacking at once. No world could withstand that. Even the origin continent in its prime, without its world will acting directly, would be helpless before 10 billion Dao Lords. This was a massacre without suspense. Lin Moyu was the greatest executioner, the destroyer of worlds. For the blazing fire realm, this was an apocalypse. Countless undead descended like a catastrophe, slaughtering the entire world. The blazing fire realm's powerhouses mounted feudal resistance. Lin Moyu could feel the number of living beings plummeting. The world's great Daos were collapsing, one after another. Lin Moyu didn't need to act. His undead army alone could destroy the world. Suddenly, the blazing fire realm roared. The entire world shook, and a massive will began to awaken.
Who is it?
A furious voice rang out. The strongest being in the blazing fire realm, the one called Fire Da, had forcibly refined the world will and become the world lord, temporarily replacing the world will and wielding the power to rule the world. Lin Moyu said,
I am from the origin continent. I've come to sever karma.
At the mention of the origin continent, the entire blazing fire realm trembled, and Fire Da was clearly frightened. Back then, he led the attack on the origin continent and nearly died there. The origin continent's strength far exceeded his expectations. He roared,
Can you spare us? We're willing to pay any price.
Lin Moyu replied,
No, you don't have that right.
Fire Da made a last-ditch effort.
Your human race has a saying, every debt has its debtor. It was us who did it, let us pay with our lives.
Lin Moyu said,
We humans also have a saying, to root out the grass, remove the roots. You will die, and your world will be destroyed. Go in peace.
Chapter 3879. No chance even to self-destruct. From the moment Lin Moyu made his move, he had already pronounced the death sentence for the blazing fire realm. His order was to leave no survivors, and the undead servants would faithfully carry out this command. The power of a Dao Lord would sweep through every corner of the world. Not only would there be no survivors, but not even a single tile would remain. Even as Fire Da begged for mercy, Lin Moyu did not waver. Things proceeded exactly as he intended. Their karma was deeply intertwined, and this was a rare world where, even with a world will, destroying it would not result in the grudge fruit of all living beings. This was a matter of repaying hatred with hatred, grievance with grievance, exactly what Lin Moyu desired. Fire Da was already in utter despair. The world will he had forcibly refined wouldn't survive half a day. He was truly facing death. In his final moments, he still struggled in resistance. His aura surged as he returned to his ancestral origin. Fire Da drew upon the remaining power of the blazing fire realm, manifesting the source of his bloodline and displaying his strongest form. The entire world transformed into a giant firebird, even clearer and more powerful than the one Fire 3 had previously become. Judging by its aura alone, it was already on par with the World Lord level of the Jumu Great Spirit domain.
It's definitely not the origin bird.
Lin Moyu muttered, confirming his suspicion. The progenitor of the blazing fire realm was not the origin bird, but likely an existence on the same level. But just how strong such an existence was, Lin Moyu couldn't say. He guessed it might be eternal, but it also seemed a bit different. If it was stronger, that didn't seem likely either. After all, as far as he knew, those who had taken that final step were exceedingly rare. Green Robe and White Robe were two, and the one in the ferrying calamity boat had only taken half a step. That step was too difficult. Lin Moyu didn't think beings like the origin bird could cross it. Roar! A soul-piercing roar interrupted Lin Moyu's thoughts. Fire Da, with the entire world, roared,
Since you won't spare us, let's die together.
These words sounded familiar. Fire 3 had shouted something similar before.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Lin Moyu chuckled. Around him, a dense mass of undead servants appeared, innumerable. For the invasion of the blazing fire realm, Lin Moyu had deployed 10 billion undead servants. Now, 100 billion undead servants appeared in the void, forming Lin Moyu's undead shield. Such numbers brought only despair to the blazing fire realm. Fire Da's roar abruptly stopped. He seemed to realize he couldn't kill Lin Moyu at all. Even if he risked everything, he couldn't harm him. Lin Moyu's voice rang out slowly.
You don't have that ability. Just die quietly, and hope for a better reincarnation next time.
As he spoke, 100 billion undead servants surged forward, surrounding the blazing fire realm and crushing it with overwhelming force. Fire Da seemed to have given up struggling and didn't actually launch an attack. When quantity becomes quality, the result is utter despair. Even the will to struggle vanishes. Now completely hopeless, Fire Da gave up and waited for death with resignation. Lin Moyu remained vigilant, keeping his guard up until everything was over. He couldn't be sure if the enemy had a trump card or might lash out before dying. A cornered dog will jump over a wall. A desperate rabbit will bite. The number of living beings in the blazing fire realm dwindled rapidly. Daos collapsed one after another, and the world was crumbling. A mournful wail echoed through the world, and Fire Da finally snapped out of his grief. His voice was low and despairing.
I can't stop you, nor can I drag you down with me, but I won't let you have this world.
The world began to shake violently, thunderous rumbles resounding. Lin Moyu frowned, sensing the world collapsing.
This guy is trying to blow up the entire world.
Now that Fire Da was the world will, ruling the world, it wasn't impossible for him to detonate the entire realm. 100 billion undead servants acted at once. Torrents of Dao power fell like waterfalls, weaving a great net that wrapped around the entire blazing fire realm. The undead servants worked together to stabilize the blazing fire realm. If Fire Da wanted to self-destruct, Lin Moyu would not let him succeed. With a wave, the world-burning fire flew out and landed on the blazing fire realm. It turned into a sea of fire, quickly enveloping the world. Even if he couldn't stop the destruction completely, at least something would be left behind. Lin Moyu had a thought and issued a command.
Use the Time Great Dao to disrupt the blazing fire realm.
Upon receiving the order, 100 billion undead servants activated the Time Great Dao, taking control of every moment within the blazing fire realm. Under their control, time in the blazing fire realm became chaotic, sometimes flowing backward, sometimes stopping, sometimes accelerating. Fire Da's thoughts were affected. He no longer knew what time he was in, and the chaotic flow of time battered his mind. Watching this, Lin Moyu murmured,
Just as I thought.
Although Fire Da had refined the world will and ruled the world's power, he had not achieved precise control over the entire realm. His will was spread throughout every corner of the world, and when each region's time became different, his thoughts became confused and scattered. In an instant, he had countless thoughts and wills. The previous second, the next second, each time node brought different thoughts, impossible to reconcile. Even just 2 or 3 conflicting thoughts would drive a person mad. Now, there were thousands, tens of thousands utterly irreconcilable. In this state, self-destruction was impossible. This method would only work on someone like Fire Da. If it were a true world will, with unified thoughts, the chaos of time within the world would not affect its will. Fire Da's attempt to self-destruct was thwarted. Lost in chaos and despair, he died. The world-burning fire blazed, burning away his last will. The blazing fire realm was dead. Not a single living being survived inside, except for Husan, the revived one. With everything over, only time remained. The world-burning fire was refining the realm, and at the current rate, it would take just over 2 months to finish. Lin Moyu glanced at the karma. It was already very faint, not yet completely severed. He knew this was because the blazing fire realm still existed. If he stopped now, perhaps countless years later, life would once again evolve in the blazing fire realm, and the karma would continue. Only when one world is completely destroyed does the karma between worlds truly end. Looking back, Lin Moyu saw Husan returning with 2 undead servants, dragging a broken corpse in its claws. The Black Spider Realm's Dao Lord, killed by Husan and brought back. Suddenly, some information flashed into Lin Moyu's mind. coming directly from the myriad world's memories from the world that had been refined earlier. After being refined into a world crystal, some information was preserved, and when the myriad worlds devoured it, that information naturally entered Lin Moyu's mind. He glanced over it and dismissed it wasn't important. In the cruel world of powerful beings, the weak can only become prey, or even collateral damage. If you want to escape that fate, you must become strong. This is true for cultivators and for worlds as well. Chapter 3880, Omniscience and Omnipotence. The undying flame burned fiercely, and the Tao Lord of the Black Spider Realm was reborn in the fire, transformed into a spider, respectfully prostrating before Lin Moyu. At Lin Moyu's command, it thoroughly explained the situation in the Black Spider Realm. The Black Spider Realm was not a particularly powerful world. It had a total of 30 Tao Lords, but none were especially strong. The Tao Lord who ambushed Huasan that day was already the strongest in the Black Spider Realm. In fact, even if all 30 Tao Lords joined forces, they could only barely match the strength of the dozen or so Tao Lords from the Blazing Fire Realm. However, the Black Spider Realm had one advantage. They were adept at reproduction, and their world had an enormous number of living beings. Precisely because of this, the Black Spider Realm could more quickly evolve a world will a classic case of strength in numbers. Unfortunately, the beings of the Black Spider Realm did not realize that the world will they collectively evolved would inevitably become a malicious will. In the end, this world will might well destroy the entire era. Of course, this had nothing to do with Lin Moyu. As long as the Black Spider Realm didn't provoke him again, he had no intention of destroying it. For now, there was no deep karma between them. Time passed, and the Blazing Fire Realm was gradually refined. 2 months later, the karma was severed, and the Blazing Fire Realm disappeared from the world forever. Lin Moyu felt a sense of relief. Karma itself carries no weight, but it can make the soul feel burdened. If he were in the origin continent at this moment, he would have received a reward from heaven and earth. Of course, when he returns, the reward will still be given. But by then, he and the origin continent will be locked in a life and death battle, and rewards will be meaningless. The Black Spider Realm did not come looking for trouble, and with no grievances between them, Lin Moyu didn't seek them out either. He checked the key. It hadn't fully recovered and couldn't be used for now. Lin Moyu continued flying along his original path, moving farther and farther from the Blazing Fire Realm. Half a day after he left, the world mist began to surge toward the area where the Blazing Fire Realm had been. In just a few days, it would fill the void, erasing the last traces of the realm's existence. Several giant spiders appeared in the void, their eyes filled with fear.
What a terrifying guy. So many Tao Lord puppets who could stand against that. He said he's from the origin continent. I've heard of that world. Back then, the Black Blood Realm and Heavenly God Realm joined forces to invade it, but were utterly defeated. The Blazing Fire Realm came here out of fear of a counterattack from the origin continent. Karma truly is powerful. After all these years, they were still wiped out. Looks like Old Nine's grudge can't be avenged. Maybe we should move too.
Lin Moyu didn't know that. After he left, the Tao Lords of the Black Spider Realm would come, and that they were fully aware of what had happened here. Black spiders have a unique ability. They can learn about events through their companions. Knowing Lin Moyu's strength, they didn't dare provoke him, which is why they escaped disaster. As for their fallen companion, that was just bad luck. They would never risk their entire world for one individual. Meanwhile, the myriad worlds devoured the world crystal refined from the Blazing Fire Realm, and its effects were even greater than Desolate Beast Essence. The world crystal contained things that Desolate Beast Essence did not, allowing the foundation of the myriad worlds to become even more robust. In Lin Moyu's view, Desolate Beast Essence was like a mortal tonic, able to raise the level of the myriad worlds. But a world crystal was like an immortal elixir. Not only could it raise the level, it could also strengthen the foundation and grant the myriad worlds limitless potential. As the myriad worlds grew stronger, Lin Moyu's own power steadily increased, his strength becoming greater and greater. Most importantly, the power of his undead servants was also rising. While his own improvement wasn't dramatic, The collective advancement of tens of billions of undead servants was truly terrifying. As the myriad world strengthened, the Chaos region also expanded, able to accommodate even more undead servants. Half a month later, the world crystal from the blazing fire realm was fully devoured and refined, and a stream of information entered Lin Moyu's soul. A scene unfolded before his eyes. In a void, the sun and moon sources nearly touched, standing side by side and radiating light. The power of yin and yang intertwined in the void, with great Taos emerging, evolving a brand new world. This new world was not even in its embryonic stage, it was just a mass of gas. Suddenly, the void shattered, creating a massive rift. A terrifying drop of blood fell from the rift, landing precisely in the sun source. The sun source, affected by the blood, began to change. It grew ever stronger, breaking the balance and suppressing the moon source. Flames rose from the sun source, and the temperature soared. The nascent world began to burn. Soon, the world transformed into a firebird. With the sun source dominating its evolution, the blazing fire realm was born. Lin Moyu didn't care much about the birth of the blazing fire realm. He was more interested in the fleeting existence behind the broken void when that drop of blood appeared. It was a gigantic bird, but only its silhouette could be seen. In the memory carried by the blazing fire realm, that drop of blood was unimaginably powerful, enough to alter the evolution of the sun source. The bird itself was even stronger, but the memory lasted only an instant with no further detail. Lin Moyu could only speculate based on what he saw. He mused.
That bird's blood seems to have come from another time and space, with traces of time upon it. The bird and the origin bird should be from the same place, but where is that?
His thoughts turned again to the green-robed old man and the white-robed elder. Where is the green-robed old man? He doesn't seem to be in this world. Could he be in the same place as the origin bird? And where is the white-robed elder, and what is the so-called
other shore?
That region full of ancestral water lakes? But one thing is certain, they are not in this world. They, including the ghost husband, must have already entered another level. Yet they can still freely come and go in this world. The origin bird and the great bird that created the blazing fire realm should both come from there. The memories from the blazing fire realm gave Lin Moyu new insights into the nature of the universe. He understood how important it is to truly see and understand the world. Only by seeing through the world and unraveling all its mysteries can one truly stand above it, even become omniscient and omnipotent. Omniscience and omnipotence, that is what a true master should strive for. Just as he was within the myriad worlds. As long as he wished, nothing that happened there could escape his notice. He could even know what would happen in the myriad worlds in the future. All living beings in the myriad worlds were within his grasp. He could change a creature's fate, talent, or even thoughts. This was omniscience and omnipotence. Compared to the will of the origin continent or the world lords of the Jumu Great Spirit Domain, he was far superior. But not every being's fate was known to him. There were always a few whose destinies remained a mystery. Such beings were extremely rare, countable on one hand. Even so, Lin Moyu felt uneasy about it. He hoped that one day, he could erase this discomfort and truly control everything. He flew through the world mist for several more months. The key finally recovered, and Lin Moyu activated it again, adjusting his direction as he continued onward. Chapter 3881. The Technological World. Day after day passed, and within the world mist, time seemed to lose all meaning. Even space itself became illusory. However, with the myriad worlds in his possession, Lin Moyu adjusted the flow of time within it to match the origin continent precisely. This made it much easier for him to keep track of time. As a result, he could clearly know how far he had traveled in the world mist and how many years had passed. By the third year of his journey, the chaos region woven from the yin and yang of the myriad worlds and bone hell was already filled with undead servants. Trillions of undead servants quietly waited in the chaos region, bathed in the aftermath of shattered souls. After this, Lin Moyu stopped summoning. Trillions of undead servants were enough. If even that many undead servants couldn't handle an enemy, then summoning more would be pointless. Lin Moyu estimated that if he entered the Jumu Great Spirit domain again, even those top-tier world lords would find it hard to kill him. If he encountered another great Tao desolate beast king, these undead servants could wear it down to death. Unless someone like the human emperor intervened, Lin Moyu basically had no fear for his life. His strength was already sufficient. Now, the main problem was how to retrieve his true spirit imprint from the origin continent's world will. As long as his true spirit imprint hadn't returned, it was as if a sword hung over his head, ready to be sacrificed at any time. In the 5th year after he left, Lin Moyu suddenly sensed that his soul world had touched the edge of the origin continent. The real world and the soul void correspond to each other to a certain degree. As he moved through the real world, his soul world in the soul void shifted position accordingly. Of course, this correspondence wasn't absolute. Lin Moyu had already traveled far from the origin continent, but his soul world was still within its boundaries. It wasn't until 5 years later that his soul world reached the edge of the world. At this point, it had gone as far as it could. It was impossible to leave the origin continent. This was a law of heaven and earth. Unless, one day, Lin Moyu's true spirit imprint disappeared from the origin continent, only then could his soul world leave the soul void of the origin continent. 60 years after his departure, after dozens of uses of the key for guidance, he finally approached his destination. With each use, he developed a subtle connection with the key. On the key, a faint thread of karma appeared, weak but incredibly tenacious and hard to sever. It was by following this thread of karma that the key could guide him. As the key drew closer to the gate, the karma on it grew stronger. Now, the karmic force was more than 100 times what it was when he started. Lin Moyu's sense of the gate became clearer, and a sense of anticipation grew in his heart. What lay behind that dangerous gate? Perhaps this time he would find out. Another 5 years passed. In the 65th year after leaving the origin continent, he finally saw the gate. Passing through a stretch of world mist, Lin Moyu braked sharply and stopped in the void. Within tens of millions of kilometers, the world mist had completely disappeared. Countless dreamlike fighter jets were locked in fierce combat in the void. These jets resembled the fighter planes Lin Moyu had seen in his previous life, but were even more futuristic and powerful. They fired beams containing the power of the Great Tao, with attacks no weaker than those of the Great Tao realm. Countless fighter jets formed a battlefield, and the gate was right in the center.
A technological world. I've arrived at the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain.
Lin Moyu was shocked by the scene before him. He hadn't expected to encounter a technological world here. Worlds that developed along technological lines were rare. The discernment beast had mentioned that the Tianyu and Tianzhou Great Spirit Domains both followed technological paths. The Tianyu Great Spirit Domain combined cultivation and technology. The magic treasure that Xiao Zhantian had used for many years came from a world in the Tianyu Great Spirit Domain. The Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain, on the other hand, was purely technological. Worlds here had no concept of magic treasures. Looking at the scene, Lin Moyu saw that these fighter jets showed little sign of refinement and had no aura of magic treasures. Yet their combat power was extremely strong. He concluded he had entered the region of the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain. The surrounding worlds were likely all technological worlds. He observed for a while and noticed that the two sides' fighter jets had subtle differences. All the jets were unmanned, fighting automatically in fierce combat, with jets constantly being destroyed and exploding in the void. The explosions were as powerful as a Great Tao realm self-destruction, though the affected area wasn't as vast. After a while, a large number of points of light appeared in the distance. The battlefield's space twisted, and the points of light billions of kilometers away instantly arrived. These points of light were massive battleships, each over 1 million meters long, and there were hundreds of them. The giant battleships joined the battle, opening fire and instantly suppressing the opposition. Lin Moyu noticed that the combat power of these battleships was comparable to that of a Tao Lord. After a wave of suppression, the battleship hatches opened and countless fighter jets swarmed out like bees, joining the fray. One side immediately gained the upper hand, while the other retreated as it fought. Though defeated, it showed no panic. Lin Moyu sensed space folding, but did not detect the space Great Tao. Instead, he felt a massive energy being used to fold space, achieving an effect similar to teleportation. The technological world truly followed its own unique path. The retreating side fought as it withdrew. Not moving very quickly, Lin Moyu felt they must have something planned. Sure enough, before long, space twisted again and more battleships arrived, each 1,000,000 meters long, unleashing swarms of fighter jets. The two sides launched a second round of combat, neither willing to yield. Watching this, Lin Moyu found it odd.
If the technological world's combat power is so strong, why haven't they expanded outward? Ordinary worlds couldn't withstand their attacks.
There were more than 10 million fighter jets on the battlefield, equivalent to 10 million Great Tao Realm cultivators. Could any ordinary world field so many Great Tao Realm beings? Even the Origin continent, at its peak, only managed to create so many Great Tao Realm puppets with its guardian fortress, which itself showed traces of technological world influence. Hundreds of giant battleships were equivalent to hundreds of Tao Lords. Worlds like the Blazing Fire Realm or Black Spider Realm couldn't possibly withstand them.
Could it be that they're limited in some way?
Lin Moyu quietly watched the battle, deep in thought. He was like a transparent person, as if he didn't exist at all. The two sides were fighting over the gate, but Lin Moyu could see that they were evenly matched. Neither could defeat the other.
This battle must have happened many times before, always ending in a stalemate.
The gate remained unscathed amidst the barrage, with a 1,000-meter radius around it forming a forbidden zone. No attack could touch it.
In that case, even if their battle never ends, as long as I enter within 1,000 meters of the gate, I'll be safe.
But with a battle of this scale, Lin Moyu shook his head slightly and did not act. He decided to keep watching. The real show had yet to begin. Chapter 3882. Clones. Lin Moyu had a feeling this great battle would not end anytime soon. Moreover, he sensed he was not the fisherman in this scenario, someone else was. This intuition came suddenly, and in his palm appeared an illusory Great Tao, the Destiny Great Tao. He realized the source of this feeling was the Destiny Tao itself. In fact, back when the myriad worlds first fused with the initial batch of elemental liches, the Destiny Lich had already constructed the Destiny Great Tao. At that time, the Destiny Tao was extremely weak, merely an embryonic form, and basically unusable. Later, as Lin Moyu brought in more materials and summoned new liches, the Destiny Tao was strengthened. After that, the Destiny Tao began to function, reflecting the myriad worlds, but that was all. As the myriad worlds grew stronger, the Destiny Tao also evolved and became increasingly powerful. By the time Lin Moyu ascended to Tao Lord, he could already see the fate trajectories of every living being in the myriad worlds through the Destiny Tao, and even alter or manipulate them at will. After refining 2 more world crystals and absorbing Desolate Beast essence, the myriad worlds grew even stronger, and the Destiny Tao changed accordingly. Now, the Destiny Tao already influenced the world Lin Moyu was in, able to give him some sense of the future. This time was no exception. The Destiny Tao told Lin Moyu that there was someone behind this war. Lin Moyu continued to observe as the battle raged for several days. More than half the fighter jets on both sides were destroyed, and even the giant warships with Tao Lord level power had joined the fray, with several already badly damaged and out of commission. Once a giant warship lost combat ability, it would quickly retreat to a safe zone for repairs and, before long, rejoin the battle. Repairing warships was like Tao Lord's healing, but far more efficient, unlike Tao Lords who might need thousands or tens of thousands of years to recover. After several days, the fisherman Lin Moyu had been waiting for finally appeared. Once again, space twisted, and a huge rift opened. A large force poured out. This time, the Space Great Tao was used unlike before, meaning cultivators had arrived. But what emerged were not pure cultivators, but a host of mechas. There were over 10 million mechas, an astonishing number, and their auras were strong at a glance. All had Great Tao realm combat power. These mechas were piloted by people, unlike the unmanned fighter jets.
They're from a world in the Tianyu Great Spirit domain.
Lin Moyu recalled the discernment beast had mentioned this other great domain. Both the Tianyu and Tianzhou Great Spirit domains follow technological paths, but the Tianyu domain's path is not pure. Their worlds combine cultivation and technology. These mechas were the best proof technology enhanced mechas piloted by cultivators, used as battle treasures. Behind the mechas came over 100 giant fortresses, also manned by cultivators. The fortress's combat power also reached Tao Lord level, no weaker than the giant warships. After their arrival, the two original warring sides suddenly turned their weapons outward, instantly becoming allies and launching a fierce assault on the Tianyu Great Spirit Domain's force. The battle escalated to a fever pitch from the start, with massive numbers of fighter jets destroyed and mechas shattered.
Mechas are at a disadvantage.
Lin Moyu thought. Mechas have pilots, so there are casualties, whereas the fighter jets are unmanned and fearless. Lin Moyu didn't know much about advanced technology, but he could imagine that, with sufficient technological advancement, fighter jets could be mass-produced endlessly. But cultivating a cultivator, at this thought, Lin Moyu's eyes suddenly narrowed.
Wait, these aren't normal cultivators.
He noticed that the pilots falling from the mechas all had exactly the same appearance, body shape, and even gender completely identical. It was as if they were all clones of the same person. Activating the Eye of the Undead, he saw soul flames in each pilot. They were all living beings, but their soul flames were absolutely identical in strength, appearance, and vibration frequency. Even identical twins would have differences in their souls, but these did not. Lin Moyu suddenly thought of a word: clone. In his previous world, cloning had already been researched. In such an advanced technological world, clones should be commonplace.
No wonder they're not afraid to die. These are clones, cloned from a certain cultivator, piloting the mechas into battle. They can use great Daos, and with the mecha's amplification, their combat power is boosted. Each mecha is no weaker than a third-tier Great Tao Realm cultivator.
The technological world displayed its might, and Lin Moyu was impressed. The world is diverse, and so is the universe. There are not only glorious cultivation worlds, but equally brilliant technological ones. The worlds of the Tianyu and Tianzhou Great Spirit Domains were locked in fierce battle over this mysterious gate. After watching for most of a day, Lin Moyu realized they wouldn't decide a winner anytime soon, and that they were only fighting for control of the gate. No one actually tried to approach it. He suspected they couldn't get close to the gate. Losing interest, Lin Moyu flew toward the gate. He crossed the battlefield as if invisible, threading through the hail of attacks. His appearance immediately drew the attention of both sides. Almost without hesitation, fighter jets and mechas turned their weapons on him, and dazzling attacks rained down on Lin Moyu. In addition to visible attacks, there were invisible ones that exploded violently around him. Space trembled with the explosions, but Lin Moyu remained unmoved. He became a black hole, absorbing all attacks. The domain spell took effect within a certain range around Lin Moyu. It became the domain of the myriad worlds. Attacking Lin Moyu was like attacking the entire myriad worlds. Attacks at the Great Tao realm level couldn't shake Lin Moyu at all. Both sides reacted quickly. Seeing that mecha and fighter attacks were useless, the fortresses and giant warships also targeted Lin Moyu. Waves of terrifying attacks struck him, but Lin Moyu still didn't dodge, letting them hit him as he advanced toward the gate at incredible speed. Unable to stop him, both sides grew anxious. Large numbers of mechas and fighter jets tried to physically block Lin Moyu. He laughed softly, summoning 10 undead servants. The servants swung their blades, imbued with the gold Great Tao, cutting through everything and clearing a path. A giant warship tried to tear open space to escape, but the undead servant was faster, using the space Great Tao to smooth out the space. The teleportation failed, and the warship erupted in a massive explosion. Lin Moyu was surprised.
A failed teleport causes space energy backlash, resulting in self-destruction. So even technology must follow the rules.
Chapter 3883. The Gate. In the worlds of the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain, giant battleships use technological means to bypass the space Great Tao and achieve something like teleportation. But in the end, they still had to deal with space itself. All the mysteries of space are governed by the space Great Tao. When the battleships tried to tear open space, Lin Moyu's undead servants manipulated the space Great Tao to forcibly free space. At that moment, the battleship, having already expended a tremendous amount of energy to tear space, had nowhere for that energy to go. It exploded inside the battleship, causing it to self-destruct. The giant battleship was blown to pieces in the explosion, countless fragments scattering through the void. With a thought, Lin Moyu had his undead servants use the space great Tao to collect some of the fragments. He gently squeezed, and the fragments were crushed to powder, falling from his fingers.
These aren't high-grade materials. Their hardness barely reaches the Great Tao realm. Using low-level materials to build battleships with Tao Lord-level attack power, that's the essence of technology.
Sensing the materials, Lin Moyu found their grade was not high. He ignited the undying flame in his palm, attempting to summon an elemental lich. But the summoning failed. These materials contained no great Tao attributes and weren't suitable for cultivators, so they couldn't be used for summoning. As someone with some knowledge of technology, Lin Moyu could make a few guesses. These materials might have been synthesized using some technological process and didn't involve any natural treasures. Attacks rained down again. Giant battleships from the Tianyu Great Spirit Domain and fortresses from the Tianzhou Great Spirit Domain launched a saturation strike at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu laughed in surprise. His appearance had actually made them form an alliance. The undead servants wielded the space great Tao to form spatial defenses, blocking most of the attacks. The few that slipped through, Lin Moyu simply endured. They couldn't do him any real harm. Pushing through the barrage, Lin Moyu drew ever closer to the gate. The battleships and fortresses were clearly getting anxious, trying everything to stop him, but their attacks had no effect. The only option was to approach themselves, but after witnessing the battleship's self-destruction, they didn't dare use spatial jumps. As a result, no matter how anxious they were, they could only watch as Lin Moyu neared the gate. When he entered within 1,000 kilometers of the gate, all attacks suddenly vanished. The gate radiated an indescribable aura. Any attack within 1,000 kilometers would mysteriously disappear. This 1,000-kilometer radius was the gate's absolute domain. No external force could interfere within it. Staying alert, Lin Moyu slowly approached the gate. He knew from gathered information that many had reached the gate before. As long as the gate wasn't opened, it should be safe. As he got closer, the gate loomed ever larger. It was over 1,000,000 meters tall and 100,000 meters wide, with two doors tightly closed together, not a crack between them. The entire gate was covered in intricate designs, seemingly some kind of runes, but Lin Moyu couldn't decipher their meaning. When he was less than 100 kilometers away, a strange aura washed over him. Lin Moyu's soul trembled, struck by a violent shock. It was hard to imagine that the aura of time itself could become a form of attack. Countless scenes from his past flashed before his eyes, all things he had experienced, replaying over and over. His soul seemed to be sinking into the river of time, unable to break free.
Wake up!
With a low shout in his heart, Lin Moyu broke free from the river of time and regained his clarity. He understood that the time aura was not an attack, but a natural effect emitted by the gate itself. The gate was so ancient that its very aura could cause people to lose themselves. If one's Tao heart was not strong, even a Tao Lord could be trapped and unable to escape. When Lin Moyu was 10 kilometers from the gate, he saw a small notch on the right door, shaped exactly like the key he held. On the left door, in a symmetrical spot, there was also a place for a key, but here, a key was already set, perfectly integrated with the ornate designs, making it hard to spot even on close inspection. Clearly, the Lord of Hell had studied the gate in detail to create this key. There was a karmic link between the key and the gate, allowing him to find it. Back then, he must have planned to return for the gate after escaping with his life. But something unexpected happened. Something that came out from behind the gate scared him off. Even after he recovered, he never dared return, letting the gate wander untended. The Lord of Hell lacked a firm Tao heart and courage. His achievements were already due to great fortune, but he would go no further. Lin Moyu walked to the spot for the key, removed it, and inserted his own. The previously missing piece was filled, and the design became whole. Faint light flowed across the gate, followed by a deep rumble, as if some mechanism had been activated. But the gate did not open. Instead, Lin Moyu received a stream of information explaining how to open it. Currently, the gate lacked the energy needed to open. Back then, the Lord of Hell placed it in the underworld for countless years to accumulate enough energy to open it once. Now, Lin Moyu didn't have that much time. He needed to find a way to provide enough energy himself. He studied the information, surprised to learn that opening the gate was divided into 4 stages: primary, intermediate, advanced, and full opening. The minimum energy needed for the primary stage was 30%. As long as the gate was supplied with 30% energy, it could be opened a crack, allowing access to a limited area and fewer rewards. The intermediate stage required 60% energy, the advanced stage 90%. Full opening required 100% energy. Currently, the gate only had 20% energy, 1/10 short of the minimum. This 20% had been accumulated over countless years by passively absorbing energy from its 1,000-kilometer range. For countless years, the worlds of the Tianyu and Tianzhou Great Spirit domains had fought here, with massive attacks falling within the gate's absorption range, all converted into energy it needed. The gate could absorb all kinds of energy, nothing was refused. But the amount needed was so vast that, relying on passive absorption alone, it would take billions of years to fill. Each stage of opening had its own significance. The primary stage opened just a crack, with limited access and rewards. The intermediate stage opened a larger area, with more opportunities and dangers. The information included records of past openings over billions of years. The gate had been opened several times, on average every few million years. Most people only managed the primary stage. Intermediate openings were rare, and advanced opening only happened once. Full opening had never occurred.